All right, this video is about Escobar. All right, Escobar was dubbed the king of cocaine. Escobar was the wealthiest criminal in history, having amassed an estimated net worth of 30 billion by the time of his death, equivalent to 70 billion as of today, 2023, while his drug cartel monopolized the cocaine trade into the United States in the 1980s and early 1990s when I got locked up. I'm going to take you on a ride you're not going to believe, stuff you never heard. But, I'm giving it to you from how Unique Mecca Audio lived it. All right? All right, Unique Mecca Audio, man. This is how we going to do it. I told you last week about John Gotti, so I'm going to start giving y'all these mob and cartel figures in a way that you're not used to hearing it and you're not into it. I done gave you John Gotti last week. This week, I'm giving you the world famous Escobar, all right? If you don't know who he is or what he looked like, sit back and I'm going to show you. Now, that's Escobar, so you understand. Now, Escobar was from my era, back in the 80s. He had his run from in the mid-80s, just as me, until 1993. He got killed in 1993 because they went in and got him because he was doing too much, let's just say. You know what I mean? But as far as in our world, it wasn't too much. He was eating. Now, let me tell you how this thing play out. Escobar had the whole Washington Heights on lock. Now, this is stuff you're not going to hear nowhere else. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the emoji. You know the Cash App is on the screen because the game is to be sold, not told. So it's no fronting in this. All right? Gunshots. 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 Now let's begin. Now, Escobar was doing his thing, and he had a mansion, and he was so cocky with it because they called me the cockiest kingpin. But Escobar was so cocky with it that he actually sat there and he built a mansion, and he had his first plane, on the top of the entrance that he brought in his first cocaine into the United States. Tell me he don't get gunshots for that. You know what I mean? Tell me he don't get gunshots for that. He actually built his mansion and put a replica of the first plane that he used to bring his cocaine into the United States. Escobar was nothing nice. Now, Washington Heights, let me tell you how it's broken up. Washington Heights was the cocaine capital because coming from any major highway from 95, from up north, New York, or from down south, up the turnpike, you come in to Washington Heights directly. Now, when you come into Washington Heights, they had all the cocaine. You go on any one block, and you might have 10, 15, 20, 30 guys all selling cocaine from one line. You got 10 lines in a gram to give you all the history. That's why I say the game is to be sold, not told. In a gram of cocaine, you got 10 lines. Each line, is like a tenth of a gram. You understand? So you break that down, and they sell from one line to kilos. But a lot of the spots was selling like, grams, half a gram, things like that. Back then, a half a gram was $50. If you're from the town or you knew somebody, you paid $40. You came from out of town, you paid $50. You know what I mean? But if you live in the town, you paid $40. Back then, we talking about doing like, the freebase era into the crack era. When the crack came, the price went down all the way tremendously, just so you understand. But picture this man having a mansion that he built, and he used a replica of his plane to dictate that. You understand? And he had so much money. You understand? He had so much money so that you understand what I'm talking about. This man had so much money that he actually went out and he brought, Al Capone's bullet-ridden car that Al Capone got killed in. You know what I mean? See, that's the very car. He didn't get killed in there, but Al Capone got shot up in that car. They shot up his car, and he went and brought the car because he respect the street and he respect the gangsters. You know what I mean? That's how Escobar get down. Now, right? he got this call. Let me explain to y'all something that y'all don't know, because I like giving information that y'all don't have. Now, if you selling, you had the Medellin, which is what he was. They pronounce it Medellin, but I just say Medellin because me a Jamaica. Now, he had the Medellin cartel, and then you had the Rodriguez brothers that had the Cali cartel. Now, the Cali cartel wasn't allowed to sell no drugs up in Washington Heights. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all don't know that. That's why I say the game is to be sold, not told. Medellin had all of Washington Heights on lock, from like 207th Street all the way down to 125th Street, 135th Street, between Broadway and Amsterdam. Now, if the Cali cartel came up there and tried to sell to anybody up in Washington Heights, Escobar wouldn't touch a hair on their head. What he did was he went to Colombia and sent his people to wipe out their family, to let them live so they could suffer. That's something like how America do it. You got America that has, the death penalty, and they have life in prison. So instead of, giving you life in prison, we're going to give them the death penalty. But they know the death penalty is the easy way out. Easy way out. Life in prison to suffer for 30, 40, even 50, 60 years that you might live, to suffer looking at four walls, like how these people put me in ADX Supermax for 5 years, to sit in there and look at four walls like what you see behind me. So you understand, it's no joke. You understand what I'm saying? So now they wanted Escobar so bad, right? They wanted Escobar so bad that they went after him. And I want y'all to understand, like I said, I'm giving up a lot of behind the scenes that y'all don't know. You understand? Everybody thought Escobar was crazy because Escobar was running around, killing the government officials in Colombia. And they just thought that he was anti-government, going against the government. No, Escobar was on some time that you could do whatever you want abroad, in America, Europe, anywhere, the UK, anywhere. You do whatever you want over there, but then you could run back to Colombia and you're safe, and they couldn't extradite you from Colombia to these other foreign entities to put you in prison. Now, the people of Colombia, they started, swaying with the government, and you had the good old workers, and, that's the 9 to 5 dudes that they call civilians, They felt like if America should be able to come in and extradite the drug dealers because they're giving, the hardworking people of Colombia a bad name. But Escobar was like, nah, whatever I do over there, stay over there. You can't come over here and do nothing. But then they had the prosecutors, people running for prosecutors, government officials and things like that in Colombia that was pushing the envelope, and they was running on, if I get in office, I'm going to extradite all the criminals that's making Colombia look bad by selling cocaine, sending all the cocaine to America, making everybody think that Colombians is all drug dealers, and, we're killing other communities, and we're poisoning communities, and this and that. That's what the government officials was on. You understand? So Escobar, he called all the cartels to his house, and he had a big dinner, and he explained the plan to them that we was going to go at all of the government officials that's down with extraditing any one of them from Colombia to the United States. So that's where you see in the movie Scarface when they went to go, Sosa said, go get such and such, because the new dude that was running for president of, where Sosa was at, was trying to get them to, say, if I get in office, I'm going to extradite Sosa at first and everybody else that's sending cocaine over to America and this and that. So they had to kill him before he got a chance to go public with the information he had. And then Scarface got, had a little empathy and couldn't see blowing the car up with the man's child in the car. But Sosa was like, everybody's a casualty of war. Even the children, because if they take them from their children to send them to America to rot in prison, then their children will be a casualty of war, to be grown up without their parents. The same way our children, as blacks, as I taught you, the back of the palm of your hand, you understand, was the casualty of war for the mandatory minimum when they locked us up like me. I was in prison for 30 years, 26 and a half years, call it 3 decades. My daughter was 18 months. I had a son that was 7, a daughter that was 7, son that was 8, son that was 9, and then I had children further down the line. But now the point that I'm making is when I come out of jail 26 and a half years later, my youngest child is now 27 going on 28 in a couple of months. And I don't even know my child. So she too was a casualty of war. So let's go back. Like I said, I like to ride. So we gonna ride now. Ride and calm down. Those of y'all don't like to ride or don't understand the ride, go somewhere else, man. This is how we do it over here at Unique Mecca Audio. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that my child was raised without me for 27 years, where I'm coming home to a grown woman when I left behind and baby, an infant, because she was 18 months. But Scarface couldn't see blowing up the car with the child in the car. Not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just letting you know that when you're on the streets, and that's why I tell the youngins don't get involved, because you gotta, your heart gotta be just as black as this jacket or just as black as my hat. Because it's a war. America labeled it the war on drugs. And it was the war on the crack epidemic, as they called it. So therefore, blacks were selling it. So it was a war on the blacks in the urban communities. And I was kidnapped and placed in a concentration camp, which was a federal prison. But that was by my choices. So I'm not saying, oh, feel sorry for me or nothing like that, because that's why I'm telling you youngins. I knew no better then, but I still claim responsibility for what I didn't know. But you can't say you didn't know from today forward, because Unique Mecca Audio is up here giving you these videos. We always had criminals in this country and worldwide. That's why I'm showing you the picture of Al Capone's car still up there, because he was a criminal in the United States and they ran by codes. You get your head cut off or 2 to the head. And like I said, I'm riding, so keep up. Always go back to where I'm at. So don't get impatient. Just like I told you, the Colombians, they're not going to bullet rid your car. They're going to go kill your grandkids, your grandmother, your pet monkey Bubbles. Whatever it is you love, that's what they're going to go get. So you can suffer the loss of that. Because they already know you torture us and we're going to take any pain you can inflict on us. Because physical pain, like my mother told me, it only lasts 7 to 10 days. But emotional pain lasts a lifetime. That's why I'm still mourning the death of my brother from October 1st, 1994. When I got life plus 20, September 15th, 1994, that didn't mean nothing to me, because I knew what my choices was and I knew what the rules and the code of the street is. So youngins, don't get involved so you don't have to have this mentality. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't care when I got life plus 20, because I was still alive to fight another day. But when my brother got 2 to the head, that still lasts with me up to today. I just did a video on March 13th celebrating, his 60th birthday. Because this year I become 59. He was a year older than me. But I'm letting you know it's not worth it. I lost mine. And I'm still dealing with that emotional pain. But getting sentenced to that physical, confinement of life plus 20 didn't move an old gangster like me. But losing my brother did. Now, let me get back to Escobar and show y'all some more pictures and let y'all see what's happening. So that's the car. Now, Escobar, like I said, he was fighting to stop them from extraditing the Colombians to America when they came here and sold the drugs and got arrested or whatever. They wanted to be able to, hop, skip, and jump on the plane back to Colombia and know that they was in a safe haven. But then you had the politicians that were playing the 50, trying to get in office, playing on the so-called civilians of Colombia, saying that if I get in office, I'm going to send Escobar's ass back to America to go sit and rot in jail. So Escobar got with all the other cartels and told them, we're going to wage war on the government and stop them from even thinking about sending us back to America, because this is our homeland and America should not be able to come over here and extradite us from our country over there. That was Escobar's fight with the government of Colombia. Challenge me on what I'm saying. I ran the streets during this time, and I too had my hands in selling Escobar's cocaine, just like a lot of my other comrades. So this is not to brag, it's not to boast, it's just giving it to you like it is. So pay attention to what I tell you. And for those of you that think that I'm bragging, gunshots to you for faking. So that means that you ain't really from the street and you don't understand the mechanics of what I'm doing and the pain of what I went through. You understand? So now when they did that, they said that they wanted to lock Escobar up. So now Escobar gets caught. They wanted him to, get extradited. So being that he was busy, killing off the government officials, he waged war on the government officials in Colombia. Being that that was going on, he told the government that was in at the time, I'm going to give you X amount of money under the table that nobody got to know about. And you agree to give me 5 years here in Colombia and allow me to build my own prison. So he turned around and he built an elaborate prison. You know what I mean? Look at the prison he built. This was a prison that Escobar built. Y'all said you wanted pictures. You know what I mean? All this is called editing. This costs. So that's why I say the game is to be sold, not told. I had to pay to get this done. So therefore, my Cash App is going to roll around on the screen right there. You know what it is. Show some love, because these videos could save your life, your children's life, your family members, and your friends' lives that don't understand how serious this is that I'm sitting here giving to you. Now, this is the prison that he built. When he built the prison, he told them straight up, this is what we're going to do. Let me build my prison. So he built a mansion. Now, look at that big joint, swimming pool and all that in the joint, right? Now, let me show you some other pictures so that you understand what I'm talking about. Now, he also turned around, you know what I mean? He also turned around and he built, he built this, the cathedral. You know what I mean? I don't know how to say it all in Spanish and all that, so I'm just going to say he built the cathedral. You know what I mean? But that was the prison, and, this is the day room. This is the day room in the prison that he built. Pool tables and everything. They lounging. Look at this. You know what I mean? The day room in the prisons that I did time in looked just like what you see behind me. Empty. We sat in these cages behind me for the choices that I made, that I'm telling you, the youth, not to make the same mistakes so you don't have to go through the emotional turmoil that I went through. Look at the man's day room. And look at my day room that I spent my time in. And half the time, 23 hours a day, I spent it sitting in that cell looking out the bars at that empty room. But Escobar built his own elaborate prison with his own day room. Now, to even take it a step further, he turned around and he built an elaborate bedroom. Look at the man's bedroom. And look at my bedroom behind me. I wasn't getting no money like that. And y'all ain't getting no money like that. And right now, obviously, it wasn't worth it for Escobar because he died with nothing. They got shows right now on Discovery Channel where they're looking for Escobar's billions. The man had so much money that he was burying it all over the island, and they got shows showing you how they're trying to track down the money. So how could that be worth it when he never got a chance to spend it, never got a chance to give it to his family members, but he acquired it? So how could that be worth it? You tell me how that could be worth it. But look at Escobar's bedroom, but it is what it is, man. But just so you understand, look how Escobar, was thumbing what they call it, thumbing his finger in the nose. That's when he first got arrested. You know what I mean? He only spent a night in jail, but look at him smiling and laughing like, yeah, y'all are clowns. You know what I mean? Because at the time he thought it was a joke. But one thing for sure, two things for certain. Let's not take none from Escobar. He went out like a straight gangster. They went over there to get Escobar and tried to extradite him back to America. And they went and invaded the country. That man fought like an animal and died like a G on the roof of his stash house. You know what I mean? That he was hiding away from these people. You understand? But now let me go back to Washington Heights and where I'm from and how we play a part in the cocaine that he was dealing. They got all kinds of things that was going on as far as, with Escobar, that y'all really don't know about. But that's why I'm here to tell you about right now, so you understand. Now Escobar in the mid 1980s, Escobar's cartel, they was estimated to make $420 million a week, which totals $22 billion a year. $22 billion a year, and he died with nothing. So if you youngins want $22 billion, go turn into Escobar. You know what I mean? Wind up down with nothing. But know if you get caught, my motto, shut the F up. Because those are the rules to the game. Period. So don't get it confused. You know what I mean? Escobar made the Forbes list for 7 years straight. 7 years straight, Escobar made the Forbes list from 1987 when I came out of prison until 1993 when I got locked up. So my hands was deliberately touching Escobar's drugs the same as many of my other comrades throughout the United States. You understand? Just so you understand where we at with this. Now, by the end of the mid-'80s, Escobar supplied 80% of the world's cocaine. Could you imagine one man supplying 80% of the world's cocaine? Come on, man. And at the end of the day, died with nothing on his roof, got gunned down like an animal. But he's in our history for the people that's a part of the street, because he never told on anyone. You understand? And he went out fighting until his last breath, like my Uncle David Hyatt. He got caught up with me. He's the one that put out R. Kelly. He got caught up with me, and he got life in prison, and he never told on anyone. He was getting it from the Cali Cartel. That's who was getting it to me, because Cali couldn't go up to Washington Heights, because like I said, if they go up there, that smiling man over there, you know what I mean? This smiling man over here would go kill their families in Colombia. So they used me, old Jamaican, old black man from Harlem, from Brooklyn, from the Bronx, from Jersey, for go up there and sell the drugs because I'm exempt from that crap, because I'm not Colombian. So I went up there, I did my thing, and I moved a lot of Cali Cartel drugs. You understand what I'm saying? And when I got locked up, the judge told me, only way to save myself is to tell him who I was getting the drugs from. And he even offered me, the prosecutor even offered me, if I'd have told on my brother that was dead, that they'll give me immunity and let me go. But being that I honor the code of the street without blurring the line, I chose to keep my mouth shut and take my life plus 20 as a man on Man Time. Check out my man Al Ra on Instagram to get your gear. You understand what I'm saying? That's my man. I'm wearing Al Ra's gear right now, because this is the way we look out for each other. Now, my man on the screen, Escobar, he also was labeled as the Robin Hood, the Robin Hood from his time and his, in his country. Because many people would tell you, when I was getting my money, when Kevin Child was getting his money, when Peter Shue was getting his money, when the Supreme Team was getting their money, we looked out for our communities because there was no jobs. So we not only gave them jobs, even though it was illegal jobs, I opened up legal businesses, Club 2000, Mecca Audio, I had a store in Miami, club in Miami, and I gave jobs out, and I also paid people's rent, because that's what we do. We look out for each other. So that's why I'm telling you, cop the gig, man. Get your Man Time gig. And make sure you get your book of Raw in Harlem. You want the behind the scenes of what I'm saying. For those of y'all don't know what this is or who I am or what I'm talking about. You understand? So now, picture this. Escobar smuggled about 15 tons of cocaine in the United States every day from 1987 to 1993. Do you know what 15 tons of cocaine is? That's what he smuggled into the United States every day. I saw a little 25 keys a day, and you know, they act like I was this big drug kingpin. We talking about 15 tons. But y'all don't hear about these type of things. That's why I'm here to tell it to you, and that's why I tell you the game's to be sold, not told, and the Cash App is on the screen. Because I was really contemplating just shutting this down because I don't think y'all understand the jewels that you're getting. Any negative crap to say, my Instagram is on the screen. DM me and we talk as men, but we're not going to put the negative comments in my comments on this YouTube because we don't want to take away from the positive message of me letting the youth know, even me making to the top 30 cars, house in Miami, Virginia, North Carolina, you know, New Jersey, living in, you know, big skyscrapers. I'm telling you it wasn't worth it. I'm telling you it wasn't worth it, and I'm showing you why it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? In other words, right, of the Americans doing cocaine, 4 out of 5 people were snorting cocaine from this man on the screen. 4 out of 5 people that was snorting cocaine from 87 to 93 was snorting his cocaine. And let me show you how crazy America is so you understand. From Escobar's fight, pay attention to what I'm telling you, because a lot of people thought he was just killing up government officials. No, he was fighting to stop the government officials that was running, saying that they was going to allow them to let America in to take them from their soil to America. That's what Escobar's fight was about. And I'm here to tell you the facts. You don't want the facts, go somewhere else. I had a female, big shout out to Joan. I don't know her last name. She said that I scared her the first time she saw me on YouTube because I was so passionate, you know, about, you know, how I deliver my message. But I'm passionate and aggressive with my message delivery because we're dealing with an aggressive generation. And this is how I have to get through to them. I had a lot of people call me on that very phone number that flashes across the screen and tell me that from them allowing their children, their friends, their comrades, you know what I mean, people in the hood to watch my videos, that they stop hustling and challenge me on that too, because I still have their phone numbers saved in my phone. So my message is working. I know I'm aggressive. But so is these youth out here with these guns with clips longer than my arm. And how else do you reach them? You can't talk to them saying, oh, you're not supposed to do that and be a good boy. That's like saying, you know, what's my little saying? You know, but I love a dog. You know what I mean? But I love them. So I try and talk to them with compassion and love. These kids ain't trying to hear no message and no compassion and love. That's for them dudes that's whooped. They want to hear it aggressive because they're aggressive. Because they try to be what we were back then. And I'm letting them know that it's not worth it from what I've been through. I've been on the dark side of these people's prison. I went through the worst that the federal government got to offer. Check out my prior video. I forgot the name of it. Just last week when I let you know how they helped me down, took an axe handle and knocked my 4 front teeth out with my golden diamonds in my mouth. Hit me between my legs with what felt like a sledgehammer, which was an axe handle, and swole my genitals up this big. And I'm telling you, it wasn't worth it. That's what they got waiting for you on the other side of these walls, and our people don't know about it. Our people think, oh, we living good. We got cable TV. We doing this. We get 3 meals a day. We ain't got to pay rent. We living like hell in there, man. When they put you in these cages, ain't nobody coming from behind that wall telling y'all the facts like I'm telling y'all. And y'all try to make the video short. Make the video short just to tell you something. Yeah, he stabbed him, he did this, he shot this, he got killed on the roof. No, because there's no message in that. So I take my time to give you the message in what I'm speaking on. You know what I mean? Now, the king of cocaine, right, Escobar factored in losing $2.1 million. You know what I mean? Listen to this. He factored in losing $2.1 billion, not million, billion dollars in lost profits each month, meaning whatever packages get caught. He figured, I'm going to lose a little $2 million this month. You know what I mean? Every month I'm going to lose a little $2 billion. Not million, $2 billion I'm going to lose. That's how much money he was getting. But let me get back to where I was at. Like I said, I like to ride. If y'all don't understand the ride, like I said, gunshots to you and your lame ass. Now, Escobar, from Escobar's fight, and he died and he left this legacy behind that no one talks about because the government don't want you to know. Because Escobar raised with that raging war on the government, not telling anybody to rage war on the government, let's get that straight, definitely not doing that. I'm just letting you know his history and his legacy. From him fighting to stop them from extraditing people, y'all look up everything that I'm saying because I'm giving y'all facts. From his fight now, in order for anyone to be extradited from Colombia, they're not supposed to be able to get more than 30 years in federal prison, or Colombia would not extradite them. Because of that man on the screen, they added that clause in. Because they said you can't put a man in jail for the rest of his life. There's no rehabilitation there. There's no hope. So picture this man sending all these tons. He calculated losing 2.1 billion, you know what I mean, a month. You understand what I'm saying? 2.1 billion a month he calculated losing. So you already know what he's making. You understand? And he can't get more than 30 years in federal prison. But here I go, a black boy sold 25 kilos a day. You know what I mean? They got me for 255 keys, 330 kilos. And they gave me life plus 20. For a fraction of what this man had. Do the math and use your mind. There was nobody fighting for us blacks. No one was fighting for us. Our people said lock them up because, our communities is being destroyed by crack. No, our communities lost hope and they ran to crack looking for hope within the pipe. They didn't offer us nothing. So we thought we could find freedom, hope, faith, love, loyalty within a base pipe. So they locked us up for life. But this man saying tons over here a day, and he can't get more than 30 years. How do you, come on, you give me the logic in that. Like I said, the game is to be sold, not told, man. Cash App on the screen, man. If this ain't worth $1, $5, or like Pretty Gangster said, $10 ain't gonna hurt nobody, y'all need to go to another channel. No disrespect, man. No disrespect. But now, let me give it to you like it is. You know what I mean? Now, this man was making so much money that his brother even said that he was spending $2,500 a month just on rubber bands to tie up the money. The man was spending $2,500, you understand what I'm saying, each month just to be able to wrap the money up in rubber bands. Come on, man. Where else you gonna get information like this, man? I said my Cash App on the screen. Stop faking. You know what I mean? So now, you know what I mean? To show you how much money this man had, Listen, many of y'all watching this never even seen $1 billion. Not $1 billion, $1 million. Many of y'all not even seen $1 million. It might not even make that at one time in your lifetime. You may handle it throughout the lifetime and trickle it back out into society. You know what I mean? To stimulate the economy. You know what I mean? Gunshots to stimulate the economy. You know what I mean? Gunshots to stimulate the economy. Now, you might, handle that and push it back out, but this man took $2 million because his daughter was cold. $2 million. and started a fire to keep his baby girl warm. Now, how many of y'all didn't know that? Put in the comments any of this that I said that you don't know about. And I'm telling you trolls and you suckers now, gunshots. I will block you and delete you. You say anything stupid. You know what I mean? You want to talk stupid, go somewhere else. You want to educate yourself, educate your youth and the people around you, come here. Other than that, gunshots, go somewhere else. Now, that man spent $2 million. He burnt $2 million. Could you imagine taking $2 million starting a fire to keep your baby girl warm? You know what I mean? And a lot of y'all don't even want to pay $50 child support. And this man took $2 million because his baby girl was cold. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, he was nicknamed Robin Hood after handing out cash to the poor, and he built houses, you know, for the homeless and constructed 70 community soccer fields and built a zoo for his people. So that's why they rallied with him. Just like, you know, Dudders. Big shout out to Dudders. Round of applause to Dudders. Round of applause to Dudders. Round of applause to Dudders. You know what I mean? And Jim Brown, you know, his father, rest in peace. You know, when they made their money from their alleged illegal gain, they fed the community where the governments wouldn't feed them. The governments want to tell us who's right and who's wrong when they're not feeding us. All the billions that they're putting into Ukraine right now, and all the homeless people sitting here in America right now. Make sense of that, man. You know what I mean? So you tell me, you know, but like I said, Escobar cut a deal with the Colombian government for them to imprison them, and he built the luxurious prison that I just showed you earlier. You know, let me show you this prison again, man, so y'all understand, you know, what's going on. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Escobar. But look at this man's bedroom in his prison. You know what I mean? Look at his bedroom in his prison. You know, come on. I've been on here 36 minutes, man. I want to get off and cut y'all short because y'all don't respect the hustle to shoot the cash app. You know what I mean? And then want to complain that the video is too long when other people driving trucks and working, listening to these videos, enjoying themselves. But y'all so selfish, you don't even think about the next person. You just want to hear all the crazy stuff because you want to keep your mind clouded with bull crap instead of catching the message in what I'm giving you. Come on, man. Look at this man's bedroom. And that's in prison. And look at my bedroom behind me. This is my bedroom behind me. See that open cell right over here? You see that open cell? That's where I lived at for 26 years. And that's the prison that Escobar, you know, built for himself. You know what I mean? This is the prison that Escobar built for himself. Look at his bedroom. And I already showed you his day room. I mean, come on, man. We ain't going to be doing all that. But like I said, man, you know, the game is to be sold, not told, man. All right? That's my Instagram on the screen. Follow me at Instagram, you know, and this is what I want y'all to do, right? This is what I want y'all to do. When you send the Cash App, send me your email. When you send the Cash App, and I send out, you know, the newest videos, and I keep you up to date on what is going on, and we start doing a little email blast amongst each other where you could talk to me direct. And thank everybody for sending the Cash Apps. I appreciate you wholeheartedly. And, you know, that's what helped me to build this studio while my joint looks so fly. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm cocky. But you ain't say nothing, you know what I mean? When Escobar, you know, was cocky, you know, but, you know, it is what it is, man. We do what we do. But, you know, come on. Like I said, man, let me tap out, man. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I really don't think y'all really understand that the game is to be sold, not told, man, because y'all want something for nothing. But, yeah, you pay a Netflix bill. Next, you pay a Stars bill. Come on, man. When there's a black man up here saying support the hustle and you complain. I don't understand this, man. Well, what can I say? Welcome to America, right? But anyway, let me tap out, man. Check out the pictures of me and my family, you know, doing what we got to do, man. All right?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What? fresh out the can of 26. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the root men.